In ancient times, Zhanjiang City, Jiangsu Province in eastern China, was called Jinkou. Located at the Golden Cross of the Yangtze River and the Beijing-Hangzhou Grand Canal, it is a place of strategic importance. The upper reaches of the Yangtze River deposit a lot of silt here, which has gradually built up into a small island in the river. There are 3 beautiful mountains here, namely Jinshan Mountain, Beigu Mountain, and Zhaoshan Mountain, which are closely connected with the Yangtze River and are called the 3 mountains of Jinkou. Jinshan Mountain is only 42 meters above sea level. Although Jinshan Mountain is said to be on the Yangtze River, because the river's course has moved to the north, Jinshan is now some distance away from the Yangtze. Beigu Mountain, 10 meters higher than Jinshan Mountain, is just beside the Yangtze River. From here, Jinshan Mountain can be seen in the west and Zhaoshan Mountain in the east. The mighty river flows around the foot of the mountain. Zhaoshan, the highest of the 3, with an altitude of 70.7 meters and an area of 38 hectares. It is located in the Yangtze River. Surrounded by water, encircled by the green waves, the green mountain looks like a piece of jade floating on the river. People can reach the island by boat to experience the gentle river water in the dry season and appreciate the magnificent scene in the wet season. Compared with many famous mountains, this seemingly inconspicuous local landscape, composed of 3 beautiful mountains, coexist and integrate with the Yangtze River, becoming a landmark in this area. Areas around the latitude of 42 degrees north on Earth are mostly known for their cool and pleasant climate. But there is one exception, which is famous for its incredible heat. This is the Flaming Mountain in China's northwestern Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. Of course, it is not really burning. The mountain is barren and red with a blackish tint. In summer, ground temperatures can be as high as 70 degrees Celsius. People are tricked by their senses into seeing flames. The terrain is the main reason for the heat of the Flaming Mountain. It is located at the low point of the Turpan Basin, which is also the lowest point of the Chinese mainland. The height difference between it and the surrounding mountains is more than 5,000 meters, so the hot air in the basin cannot easily disperse. As a result, the flaming mountain becomes the hottest place on its latitude. There is no grass on the flaming mountain, but the canyon nearby is shaded by grapes. The canyon is only 8 kilometers long from north to south, but its annual output of grapes can reach more than 10 million kg. Almost every family here grows grapes. After harvest, they are sent to shade houses for drying. The shade houses are built on the slopes of barren mountains, high up and with no shelter, so as to make full use of the hot, dry winds in the Turpan Basin. There are many holes in the walls of the shade houses, which not only help with ventilation, but also help avoid direct sunlight on grapes. It takes just 40 days for the fresh grapes to be dried by the hot air.
The Yangtze, China's longest river, rising from the Qinghai Tibet Plateau, flows eastwards for 6,300 kilometers, eventually reaching圆陀角in Jiangsu province in eastern China, where it flows into the sea. A large amount of sediment carried by the Yangtze River has been deposited here due to the tides. Gradually, the sandbar is becoming a growing and extending beach plain. It has also become a popular stopover for a large number of migratory birds. In the Yangtze River Delta to the north of圆陀角, abundant rivers carry huge amounts of sediment to the sea. They also bring nutrients, piling up to form fertile coastlands and unique sandy ridges and sandbars. Around the coastline of the Yellow Sea in China, hundreds of kilometers of coastal wetlands and ecological zones have formed. Every spring and autumn, nearly 3 million migratory birds around the world stop here to replenish themselves. The Yangtze River Delta, next to the Yellow Sea, is one of China's most economically developed and densely populated regions. While the economy is developing rapidly, a large number of coastal wetlands have been preserved. This creates valuable habitats for millions of migratory birds and endangered species that prefer not to be disturbed. Today, sediment accumulation and continental shelf settlement are two dynamic geological forces, which are constantly shaping the landscape and ecological processes of the Yellow Sea and Bohai wetlands, making it one of the most diverse and richest coastlines in the world. It is an organic combination of natural, biological and human functions, and a key hub on the East Asian Australasian flyway of migratory birds. In the northeast of China, a dense forest grows in the low mountains and hills, known as the Shaoxing Mountains. People call it the hometown of the red pine tree. The Xiaoxing'an Mountains cover a vast area and have a long geological history of about 600 million years. Trilobite and dinosaur fossils have been unearthed in many places. Archaeological research shows that it was originally an ocean and formed by land and sea changes over hundreds of millions of years. When it comes to the Xiaoxing'an Mountains, we have to mention the red pine tree. Its pine nuts are edible and can be used to make oil. Its wood is light, soft, delicate and rot-resistant. However, its economic value is far less than its ecological value. Every hectare of the red pine forest can absorb 13 tons of carbon dioxide and emit 9.5 tons of oxygen every year. It can also fix the soil and prevent soil erosion. Wild animals such as black bears, wild boars and squirrels in the forest often eat the pine nuts. Squirrels like to store their pine nuts in different places as they prepare for the winter, but they have a poor memory and often forget where they have put these nuts. These forgotten pine nuts sprout in the spring, helping the red pine tree expand its territory. In addition to the red pine tree, there are many different kinds of trees in the Xiaoxing'an Mountains. Every autumn, these trees display the beautiful colors of nature. Padang Desert is located in northern China's Inner Mongolia. Mountains are formed through sand accumulation. The winds keep blowing the fine sand away, continually eroding them. Although only about 500 meters higher than the land around, it's enough to merit the title the highest sand mountain in the world. The desert environment keeps most creatures away, but is a perfect home for camels. After thousands of years of evolution, they are not only resistant to hunger and thirst, but also to high temperature and cold. In desert storms, they can even walk with their eyes closed. China is one of the main habitats for Bactrian camels in the world, but the ancestral home of camels is in North America, far away. Millions of years ago, they migrated all the way across the Bering Strait into Eurasia and started to settle and thrive in their new home. About 4,000 years ago, Bactrian camels were domesticated. Since then, becoming mankind's most loyal partners in the desert. In southwest China, there is a rift zone with a length of more than 300 kilometers and a width of tens to hundreds of kilometers, which is called the Panxi Rift Valley. With untouched forests, mountains, sinkholes and floor drains, and other geological wonders. This place is known as the Natural Geological Museum, and the most amazing thing is, the mountains are magnetic. It is said that an ancient Silk Road once crossed the Panshi Rift Valley. At that time, when some peddlers of pig iron passed through the mountains in Panshi, they occasionally reported that the load was getting much heavier and found it harder to walk. After leaving the area, they suddenly felt relaxed again. What they didn't know at the time was they had passed by a succession of magnet mines. Even more secrets are hidden on the western edge of the Panshi Rift Valley, where there's a place called Ghasala. According to a popular local legend, Ghasala was built by fairies from heaven, and it is the nearest mysterious place to the sun. Due to erosion and large fractures, the unique karst landform of Ghasala has been created. Within tens of square kilometers, there are more than 600 sinkholes and floor drains, a huge underground river, and rolling mountain meadows, which combine to form a primitive and beautiful natural scenery. It is also a beautiful paradise where people live in harmony with nature. In Gansu province in northwest China, there are more than 5,000 mounds on the desolate Gobi Desert. Such a landform is called a Yardang. Walking through the area, you can hear the eerie howling winds. They've not only given this place the name, the Place of Devils, but also carved the Yardang landform into different shapes. Wind speeds here can reach up to force 12, sometimes as fast as the running speed of a cheetah, the fastest animal on land, and strong enough to lift a 10-meter high wave. These mounds, which were originally sediment layers at the bottom of the lake, are not strong enough to withstand the insistent winds. The sand and stones picked up by the wind are like weapons, hacking away the rock surface and carving out a variety of shapes, giving full play to the imagination. A bird's eye view reveals a regular layout of the mounds. They are all the same height and direction, and look like a great fleet sailing across the Gobi Desert.
The lake is called Gahai. It's located about 3,500 meters above sea level in Gansu province, northwestern China. People call it the pearl on the plateau. This is the home to a species of elegant cranes. The surface area of the Garhai Lake is only about 27 square kilometres, but it attracts more than 20,000 birds to live and transit every year. The black-necked crane gets its name from its slender black neck. They mainly live in freshwater wetlands on plateaus with an altitude of 2,500 to 5,000 metres. This is the only crane in the world that grows and breeds on plateaus. The plateau climate is cold and dry. Black-necked cranes face a huge challenge from birth. But the Garhai Lake nourishes beautiful plants, providing a paradise for the black-necked crane. 1/10 of the world's black-necked cranes spend their summer in the Garhai Lake wetland. After this family of 4 have enjoyed a hearty meal, they take a leisurely stroll along the grassy shore. Sairam Lake is located in the northern part of Tianshan Mountains in western China. The gem-like pure blue is the most outstanding feature of this mountain lake. Often a boundary can be seen on the lake between different shades of blue. The secret to this spectacle can be found in the lake water, which is rich in minerals. The amount of mineral deposits varies in different parts of the lake basin, showing as different colours in the refracted sunlight. The beautiful scenery of Sairam Lake stems from an abundant water source. Warm, moist air streams from the Atlantic Ocean reach here from thousands of miles away. Blocked by mountains and uplifted by terrain, they get trapped, and the resulting rains replenish Sairam Lake. It's become known as the Atlantic's last teardrop. In fact, it's the dozens of glaciers around the Sairam Lake that are the real creators of the beautiful scenery. Rivers formed by melting water provide a continuous source of fresh water, helping to form a large wetland by the lake. Lush waterweeds attract swans and other rare birds.
The Hengduan Mountains, located in southwestern China, offer some of the most magnificent scenery in the country. The main peak is called Mount Gunga. On the west slope of the mountain, at an altitude of about 4,000 meters, there is a large calcification pool group locally called Chuen Hua Tan. This group of calcification pools under Mount Gunga is hidden in a valley surrounded by mountains on 3 sides. Large tracts of white calcified soil have tumbled down from a nearby hill, extending to the bottom of the valley and creating a colourful calcified pool. At 4,300 meters above sea level, there is a hot spring spouting 1.5 meters high. And the water temperature is always around 30 degrees. It's the main source of water for Yulongshi Chuen Hua Tan. More than 900 meters long and 100 meters wide. The Chuen Hua Tan has 8 Chuen Hua terraces down the mountain. There are more than a dozen colourful pools of different sizes and shapes on each terrace. The various aquatic plants and Hynobius salamanders in the colourful ponds bring endless vitality to this ancient geological wonder. And the algae of various colours at the bottom of the pond make the pool water even more colourful.